Ohayo. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello. Zahoro. Oh god, I need some water. Okay. Let's get some started already. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Zaharo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody that is joining me today on this special mixed stream, celebrating as a celebratory stream for Hoshi Os making first place in KACB. Yatta! Oh man, that was a wild that was a wild night actually. When the announcements came out, and that was like that was so it threw me off. It surprised me and threw me off so much. Hello Maku. Hello Tifamin. Hello. Hey Skvatter. Yo, how's it going, Skvatter? Hope you're doing well. Hey Sonaji. Ah, everyone's here. Nice. And Web. Honestly, everyone did such an amazing job in KACB. Every single team. And I don't know if anyone did see the scorecard, but like it's like uh the fakes made like first place in everything audio, and they absolutely deserve everything in that, and they deserve all of those play like that scores and the placements. But I guess Hoshi Os really pulled through with a very well balanced and very rounded entry, I would say, right? Um, there's definitely, I think today we're going to be focusing on the audio mix the audio mix and the process of creating MELA, right? Because there's a lot of work. There's a lot of time and work put behind the scenes, and I only have Mikan Project to thank, all the members there that joined, and all the audio guests that were invited to perform and record for us. So I'm truly thankful for everyone in Mikan Project and all our guests like Skvatter, Gyrus, and our guitar player Zona. Hello, 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 hello. We're just about to get started on start of the behind the scenes of the MELA mix. So I think I should either A, stop talking, or B, stall for a little bit longer in case people are just getting the notifications, because usually YouTube and Twitch notifications always lag a little bit. But I'm really happy to see you here, Zona. Deconstruction, right. I was thinking about how far I want to dive into this actually, and I was thinking about should I be doing should I go all the way into like the composition and the arrangement? I can show that side of things very briefly, because before all the mixing ever started, when we were in the recording phase, I had to essentially transcribe the song onto sheet music so that our band members could play, right? And also to use as a reference for anyone else that was gonna be a recording artist on this, a recording guest. So Can we listen to it as a class first? We can absolutely listen to it as a class first, actually. That's actually a good idea. So, I'm gonna cough again. Hold on. I still have morning voice right now, if you can tell. My voice is just waking up. I literally just hopped out of bed almost a half an hour ago. It was like, man, the night work is really doing it for me. But I don't mind it. It's not that bad because when I work at night, I can come and do things in the morning. Because my morning is really everyone's afternoon back on the mainland. So I do not mind. Alrighty. Well, I think we can move over to the mixing to Reaper. And we'll start from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see a lot of my chat, unfortunately. I wish I could have it pop out, but I'll do my best to pay attention to chat, okay? Okay. Anyways, this is why I need like 2 screens, but I don't have 2 screens at my disposal right now. So, anyways, I sound good. Audio sounds good. I think we can go ahead and transition. I'm going to turn down the BGM just a tiny bit because we don't really need that much. Alrighty. And I hope levels will be okay when I'm showing the mix. So, let's go. Alright, so here we are in totally not Pro Tools. Something that I'd first like to start off with is I customized my Reaper to my likings. In this case, I guess I could give a quick background. Let's do that. Hi, I'm Zal. I've been sort of like an audio engineer slash mixer for now 5 years, I would say. 5 years is pretty safe to say. I've been mixing my own stuff. I've been mixing for other people. I've been mixing for choruses, and I have experience mixing instrumentals and like band audio, I would say, right? Like, I don't know how an easy way to put it because it's essentially a bunch of people recording from not in the most ideal recording studio environments, but I've learned how to make do with what I am given to make things, right? I have some experience and training from college. I minored in audio engineering, and the main tool of choice, of course, in any sort of college setting is Pro Tools. But I didn't want to afford Pro Tools, so the next best thing was to skin Reaper with a Pro Tool skin. And that is exactly what I did. So, it's I don't mind the Reaper UI, but personally this is how I like to see it. And I think for the first thing we can do, we'll just do a quick listen through of the mix as it is right now without everything. You can see I have a lot of different things in here. A lot of tracks. I believe there's like almost over 70 or 80 tracks in this whole project. So I hope my computer doesn't die. And let's go ahead and just give it a listen. All right. Pause BGM. And let's go ahead and take a listen. I hope everything will be good. Let's go.
今なんじゃないメラメラとたぎれ眠っているだけの正義こんな僕も君のヒーローになりたいのさ 頼りないのかなんてそりゃそうだよなだって今もこうして迷ってる手はとて ってくれないか
きっとでくさ
君が僕のヒーローだったより今なんじゃないメラメラとたぎる
こんな僕にも潜む正義がどうしようもない
衝動に駆られて
ほら気づけば手を握っている一体全体そんなに荷物を
背負い込んでどこへ行くのねえねえ待って僕にちょっと預けてみては
That's the up to the chorus. Here's a instrumental break.
信じてばかりの僕と信じることが怖い君とどちらが正しいのかなんて誰にもわからないさ
僕らだけの世界
一歩テクさ
補い合えた暁には同じ夢を見たい
Another instrumental break. Rad synths.
君は過去一歩苦しめて一人ぼっちにさせ
あのは少し僕のせいなんだよなごめんね
だけど見るべきはリアルだ今こそ僕が助けるんだ
抱えないで信じて頼ってほしいんだ今なんじゃないメラメラとたぎるこんな僕にも眠る正義がどうしようもない外に駆られてほら気づけば手を握っているほっとけない
そんなに荷物を背負い込んでどこへ行くのほんのちょっと僕にちょっと預けてみてはこんな僕も君のヒーローになりたいのさ
Let's go, Hoshi Os!
ヒーローになりたい
Okay, well, there we go. That would, I'm not sure how, maybe you guys were able to hear most of the detail, but essentially what you just heard there is like the project, the project version of MELA, right? It's actually, I would actually describe it a little bit different, to the deployed mix right now, because after rendering and after uploading and it's after rendering, then rendering again and uploading to YouTube, there's some artifacts I think that are introduced, and I'll go ahead and say this right now. I think it's something that I'm still learning how to do, is to prepare audio for deployment. But that was I just wanted to highlight a quick thing that was a challenge actually in creating this mix, because I remember spending a lot of time rendering and rendering and rendering a lot of different takes and wondering why the heck things sometimes sound different, because the representation of what I hear in the mix doesn't always, there's some like things missing sometimes in the render that I'm not too sure about. But I still think in this mix there's a lot of great things that we can go over. There's a lot of things that were worked on piece by piece that make up the whole, and that's really the only way to tackle kind of these large scale mixing projects, is you have to You really have to tackle things precise, like small bits, very precisely, or else things can get out of control really quickly, and you can start spending a lot of time on a mix listening to something really over and over, and then ear fatigue sets in, and then next thing you know, you're making bad choices, and you're undoing all of the good stuff, all the precise work that you were working on just before when you were focused and ready to analyze the sound, right? So, um, I thought maybe it'd be a good place to start with actually the arrangement, right? Because there's a lot of great things, a lot of great things about this instrumental that I love and this song, right? There's a lot of call and response. There's a lot of like interplay, in my opinion, a lot of great, fun, emotional things to the song that really fit a that really fit a live band setting, I would say, right? We could have gone ahead and stuck with programming and instrumental, like commissioning someone to basically make a DAW render or a DAW instrumental, and that's like totally okay, right? There some people that can do amazing work with that, make it sound full and wide and very poppy. It was just anything personally with brass, I always think has to be like live recorded, because as a brass player, I'm like there's no comparing like a VST brass to like real brass. So um I'm not good at mixing stuffy stuff, but music details is one of my forte. Yeah. Musicality and emotion and the feel of the song is definitely very important when you're going for an aesthetic of a mix, right? That's person. Maybe it's a opinion, or maybe it's a fact, but it's something that I definitely take care of or think of a lot. Let me know if I'm mumbling or not, and if I'm loud enough, because sometimes I am just waking up still. But I wanted to switch over to the MuseScore thing right now. I hope it's okay. Maybe it doesn't like to want to behave, but we'll it's one of these windows. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's switch over to the MELA. Oh, there it is. There it is. I just had it minimized. So, oh goodness gracious. This is where this is essentially where it all starts, actually. Um, when I before we were in planning, and even almost actually right as like the round started, and when we decided our song, I basically got to work transcribing the song from an already established arrangement of the song. I found and I purchased a rough band arrangement of MELA on Elise.com, and they have a lot of amazing scores that you can actually kind of work off. In my opinion, work off of, like, cause like I don't know what else you can really do. They just sell scores. They don't sell like individual sheet music of it. So it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna give my band member a full score to look at, right? So it's I took it upon myself to digitize that score and then make a few edits here and there that are tasteful to me. Um, as you can see, we have, our voices. Here's our saxophones. Originally, I was gonna add alto into this, but um, I think I just decided with my saxophone player, Sanaji, who happens to be here, that just reducing it down to just a tenor sax would be perfectly fine, and we can save time and mixing and sanity doing that just tenor sax. All right, so we got our horn section here, our tenor, trumpet, trombone, which is a very standard just brass section, I would say. The timbres of the trumpet and the tenor saxophone are essential to creating a very brass section sound, along with the trombone to support the bottom end, right? The bottom timbres and such. Okay, I'm gonna try not to speak so explicitly too, but I hope If you guys have any questions, feel free to just try and stop me. I'll be trying to periodically look at chat every now and then. So here's our electric guitar one. I separate them into sheet music and tabs just in case if the guitar player needs it. Our piano, bass, drums. Don't don't mind that. That was an artifact from an old an old arrangement. Don't worry about that. But you know, technically, if I wanted to be cheap, I could have just been like, hey, here's our instrumental, you know, and, you know, this has MIDI playback. It sounds pretty good. I have fun recreating scores, and I've been, before I even started, like, mixing and audio and, like, doing the streaming, doing this, the Utaite stuff, I was an arranger and transcriber, and I used to do that for piano stuff. So I always had a lot of fun recreating these kind of stuff and listening to back. But I like the way it sounds, you know. So I wonder if I'll... I don't mind the MIDI, you know, sometimes. But like, you get the point, I think. You write it all out as much as you can, right? Um, then you try to make it look a little bit pretty. You can export the parts as such, right? In this case, I didn't actually do a whole lot of work making the sheet music look pretty, as I usually do for some other arrangements. But when I have the sheet music out and ready to be deployed, I will send that over to the instrumentalists, and with a reference, of course. With the reference usually has like a click and just a MIDI playback, or I'll also send them the original reference just for them to follow along. There's some things that I did kind of skimp out on. Like I'm not very polyphonic. My mind doesn't really work very polyphonically, I would say. And what I mean by that is chords are kind of, all these chords might be a little wrong, actually, because I'm not very good at identifying chords or on the fly and things like that. But these were mostly from the score. Some of them are kind of wonky, according to some of my bandmates, but they corrected it because they know chords and music theory much better than me. So, all right. Anyways, this is the whole score. This took like. Honestly, this probably took approximately maybe 10 to 15 total hours, I think, from front to end, just transcribing it. So not too bad, I would say. It takes a little bit of time inputting all the notes one by one, but it's all part of the process for me. I don't know if it should be, but that's just like what I like now, because like now I have a digital score of this and I could technically pull it out anytime I want and maybe someday play it live. Who knows? We don't know. Who knows? All right, let's switch over back to the mixing window. Reaper. Alrighty. Here we are back in Reaper. I'm gonna clear my throat again. Okay. So, where do we begin with this mix? I think we should maybe we could start with the instrumental. I think that's probably not a bad spot, right? Okay, let's explode this. And here we have a lot of different things actually, right? So this is arranged for like a brass band sort of jazz rock, brass rock band setup. So 3 horns, 2 guitars, piano, some synthesizers, drums, and bass, right? I think with any sort of any sort of mix where you're starting with actual instrumentals, or actually any song, in my opinion. If you're gonna make any instrumental, um, I think solidifying the drums and bass sound is going to be key to creating the pulse, the heartbeat of the song, right? So a lot of my time was spent in this area. A lot of my time was spent in the drums and bass area, right? Trying to make sure to find a right balance between the kick and the bass guitar, the snare, and making sure the snares are snappy, making sure the toms are still present and not being drowned out. And I think like in this mix, I did like a okay job with that. Um, I want to say that for this stream, right? I'm gonna be trying to detail like the good and the bad, right? Uh, the good being really, I think it's still like a solid mix. I think it sounds wide and fat. I still think there can be improvements. There is some difficulty when working with some of the recording, right? Because a lot of our instrumentalists, they don't have multi-million dollar studios to record in, right? So there are challenges with whatever I have to work with, right? So like for example, right? Let's take a look at the kick. There's a couple things in here that I've added. Tr- I've actually beefed it up a little bit with some VSTs or some samples. So like if I were to just solo our kick right now, right? Oh, I should probably check for questions. Let me just make a check. Oh, let me just would you consider posting the reference sheet music onto MuseScore website or distribute it for a price? I don't think I legally can distribute it for a price, but it's a possibility I could share it if I want to, but that might be for another time. Uh, or I can definitely maybe share the instrumental. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see. But let's look at this kick right now. And let's turn off all of the effects, right? And we're gonna mute. I think we just want the raw audio right now. Actually, I can just do do this, and let's turn off the effects right now. So this is how the kick sounds dry. There's might be a little bit of processing still, but um, this is essentially how the mix sounds dry. The drummer sent me two recordings because they recorded the front of the kick and then the back of the kick with two different microphones, I believe. So that gives me some room to mix around volumes and mix around play around with levels to get a sound that I want. And overall, I think I think this is like probably the drummer's best rendition and recording of the kick, and there was a lot I could work with here. So, um, oh boy, see so you don't have to worry about this because that gets all captured by the plugins, but I think like the kick, like it's pretty good. It's a little thumpy for the kind of genre of music, right? I want it. If you listen to the original MELA, right? The I think most of the drum kit is actually electronic, so that's already it's already different. So let's turn on the effects that I have right now to some effects that I basically put on. I want to make sure that this window is showing. Okay, it's not showing. My plugin. Okay, give me a second to change to the display window so I can show my whole display. Unfortunately, with Reaper, when you open VSTs, it opens up in another window, right? So, okay, let me do this. Do this. Do that. Why isn't my display showing? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about this. Just gotta make sure that... Okay, so maybe am I not gonna be able to show my VSTs? I feel like that would be a problem if I can't do that, because like the whole point would be to explain some of the VSTs that are going on in here. I can't display my screen for some reason. Is that just anyone know how to share your display? um any reason why that doesn't work? Uh come on. I really should have really think I should have set up everything beforehand, right? I should have, right? That would have been a smart thing to do. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I guess I can't really show my VSTs quite really there. Damn. Unless I pin. Okay, this is gonna look really ugly, but we'll have to deal with it. Can I look? Okay, okay. Effects configuration. Okay, okay. So I forgot RX. I forgot to install RX, but let's just go with this right now. Okay. What I've basically done is just put it through some EQ and some compression, right? This is the back of the kick. This one is gonna be the front of the kick, right? So I EQ'd them all slightly different. Oh, I can't show that. That bugs me. But damn. Okay. Bummer. Anyways, I guess I'll just have to explain. I basically EQ'd some of the frequencies that I don't want in the kick, and then also EQ'd, boosted some of the frequencies I want from the kick. So essentially, for this specific kind of kick, I wanted more presence in like the 60 hertz range, I would say, because I think, well, from what I've heard from this kick, I think that's where I get the most bang for my buck. And by bang for my buck, I mean the best punchy and resonant sound of the kick in that hertz range. And what I did was I added more samples to make it even more punchy. But you can take a listen to what it sounds like with EQ and processing. So play. It sounds a lot more punchy, right? Here's what it sounds with it off, right? That's the kick with no the kick with no processing. Kick with processing, right? I basically removed most of that like thumpy, that like really like unwanted thumpiness, so that we can get a more clean, more aggressive and punchy kick, right? And then on top of this, I added on some samples, right? So this sample gives it a little bit more snap, a little bit more click. I basically added more like click to the bass drum, right? It's like there's a bunch of things you can do to sort of technically fix not so well recorded kicks. Like, I'm not saying that it was a bad recording, but like you have to make do with what you have. So in this case, what I wanted in the kick was a little bit more clicky and a little bit more punchy and aggressive, right? So I had to add more to it by introducing a sample to it. And the sample would be triggered by the kicks, like one of these kicks, right? One of these kicks would basically turn on the sample, and that's using a MIDI controller, essentially, uh, that's listening to you. Basically sidechain it to you. It's not sidechaining. It's like you trigger it based on this kick, right? And whenever this kick hits a certain threshold, it will activate the MIDI. So that's what I did for the kick, right? Um, I'm on an online class right now, but drop by to say hello. Hello. Congrats on winning. Thanks, Getsu. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're just running through some of the drums and mixes, the drum mix at the moment, and I wish I could actually display my actual full display, but I don't know why it won't do that. It makes me a little upset. But like, so that's trying to find a balance of this kick was very was without a doubt pretty difficult. Seeing how it sounds in context, right? It will be. I was struggling with sometimes losing the kick, sometimes the kick is too strong, and whatnot. And also, it's main and also like the battle between the kick and the bass. This is like a very common, a very common area to focus on a mix because the bass and kick drum often share um, a similar frequency space. So sometimes you have to choose which one's gonna occupy what. And in this case, right, I wish I could show it, but I can't right now. I decided I wanted I wanted the bass to occupy everything before 60 hertz and then a little bit of a boost in 150. Oh god, I have so much phlegm in my throat. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I should get some more water, but I want to show my hold on, I'm going to quickly Google this cuz I really want to show my my signal processing. Cuz that's where all the meat is, right? Um display capture black screen. Okay. Okay, I think I remember having this issue actually. Um okay. Give me a second, guys. 1 minute. I'm gonna be right back, okay? Can you guys give me 1 second, okay? All right, well, I guess I can't really do that actually. Well, shoot. Okay, hold on. Oh, you didn't miss anything. Don't worry about it. We're just digging right into the mix actually right now. I just had to take a small break and check some settings. Unfortunately, oh hey, Lewis, thank you for the raid. I just had to check some settings, and unfortunately, I cannot use my display capture because um, I have an advanced setting set, and I can't set it while midstream, which kind of sucks. But I'm just gonna do my best to explain verbally what I have here. All right, let's go. Let's get back into this. I'm talking about drum and the kick and bass balance, right? Uh, I already mentioned that in order to, because bass and kick kind of occupy a similar frequency space, I had to pick where I want to carve the main sound. And in this case for kick, I decided to have the kick mostly occupied the 60 hertz range, and then the bass essentially around the 60 hertz, right? So in terms of balance, here, let's give a quick listen to our bass and kick with just alone with with the processing on. So like, I have quite a few effects also on this bass guitar. I'm running it through some distortion. I'm running it through some compression. I'm running it through a colored compressor, a very colored compressor, specifically Volf compressor. Just a little, very light, adds a very light like distortion and fuzz to it. But it's really trash that's actually introducing most of it. But from what I'm hearing right now, right, I can still hear the thump and the kick and the click of the kick. So they're doing I think they're doing pretty well together, I would say. If I were to turn off the effects, right? And I would turn off the drum. Actually, can I just turn this off? I'm just gonna start turning off effects actually. Hold on. See, like, so. To me, right? Maybe it doesn't sound too bad alone like this, but when you introduce it to the rest of the instrumental with all of them, or I just want to play just the instrumental. Just want this. Yeah, I kind of lost a bit of the bass. I think a bit of the kick. The kick is like thumping, but it's not punching. It's thumping, it's not punching, right? And I want it to be more punchy. So then, put on the kick again. And then the bass. So, I've added a lot more kick, a lot of more click to the bass, right? What did you miss? Oh, you carved a lot of mids from the kick. It was getting in the way. Everything is nice. It's another legend. Hey, Marco, how's it going? Hello, hello. We're going over the general MELA mix, right? Excuse me if I'm coughing. I woke up and I had like a lot of phlegm in my throat. I apologize. But yeah. Things that I could have probably worked on better, right? I think I might have maybe I've gone a little overboard with some of the processing and kind of lost a bit of the natural sound of the kick. because like I was having a lot of, like I said, I mentioned I spent a lot of time in the kick and bass area, so maybe there was a point where I started like messing up some of the things, but I think overall it's okay. I think it sits all right in the mix. um I think it could be better, but in the time that I had and the experience that I had and the ear fatigue that I ran into, I kind of it's not like, of course, if I had all the time in the world, I'd probably go back and redo it, right? In retrospect, nothing stopping me from doing that too. But, uh, anyways, anything I can talk about more about the drums. There's the toms over here. We got toms right here, and they're all panned a different direction right now. Like I have tom 1 pan 30 right. I have toms pan 20 right, and I have pan these toms 30 right. But like they're all well, they're not playing because I have the drums muted. Hold on. Oh, actually because there's no toms playing yet. Yeah, there's the toms. I think I can't remember how the toms were recorded. I'd have to ask the drummer. I don't remember. I can't remember if he had like individual mics on them, but uh I think the toms are okay. The snare is also actually pretty tough to try and nail down, right? But I think overall, once again, I basically boosted it with a sample, right? This is what it sounds like without any effects right now. So like, not bad. I actually like the tone of the snare a lot more than some of the other heads he's used. So I like this. And here's it with some processing. So for this one, you can probably hear I really cut out I really cut out a lot of the low the low energy in it. I really tried to boost more of the shine of the snare, and then I let the VST kind of also help it, right? So this is with the VST. I think is it playing? Sometimes the VS might be a little wonky right now. When I re-imported my project, some of the connections broke a little bit, or I didn't have some of the plugins, some of the right plugins on. Oh, I think I just didn't. Maybe I just didn't turn it on. Hold on. Is it? Oh, it needs this. I think it's playing in there, but I actually can't hear it very well right now. But anyways, these are what the drums sound like when they're fully processed, just soloed, right? I think they sound good though. They sound pretty good. They're not exactly like, obviously it's not exactly like the original MELA. I'm not dealing with an electronic drum kit, so I'm dealing with like live audio, and dealing with like live audio is like almost a completely different beast when you're mixing, because you have to take into account, all the space they're recorded in, the microphones they recorded, the technique they recorded with sometimes, and you sometimes have to fight echoes, fight some weird things, and EQ. But like that's all the fun. That's all part of it. That's all part of the fun, right? um, let me see. Higher end orchestral snares are also made to have more shine. Yeah, yeah. So each instrumental is played by the same person or different person. So in this, the drummer, yeah, the drummer played all his stuff, right? So the drummer was one instrumentalist, right? And yes, each instrument is played by different people. That is correct. it's played by different people from around the world. I think that's the fair way to say it, right? Like the drummer recorded in is recording from Canada, and then the brass one our trombone player is from like the East Coast, and then our saxophone player is from the West Coast. So it's like our band is very worldwide, right? Very spread out. All right, so that's enough. Let's not talk about the let's stop talking about the drums for now. Let's go to the brass, actually. That's my favorite. So the brass part was a lot of fun to try and play around with, trying to get that very poppy brass sound, I would say. And that all that really involves is a good amount of compression. Actually, overall, this entire mix, like, it's probably one of the first mixes I dealt mixing with like a lot of compression. Usually, I don't often try to push for a lot of compression because entirely, I don't always like that really super crispy and distorted artifacty sound, and especially in like some vocals. But I think in the past, in for KACB, it's really opened me up more into the concepts of mixing pop, and that's really like a lot of a really fine balance, a very like intricate cocktail of compression. Cocktail of compression. I'll use that, right? Had to get headphones because I wanted all that goodness, right? The headphones. Anyways, let's look at the brass here. This was a lot of fun to work, tune, time. Uh, this is what it. Here's what it. Let's listen to it. Before adding all of the effects on. Let's see. What do I have? What effects do I have? Okay, I just have like Melodyne stuff on here. So I didn't process each individual track. I just processed them all on this one folder right here called horn section. This is you guys can't see it, but I'm actually throwing it into just one into a single plugin. And believe it or not, the plugin that I'm throwing it into is a Chris Lord Algae vocal stereo plugin, which I pumped up the compression and the spank like really high. So let's listen to it without compression first and then everything, okay? Okay, so here's without compression, right? So, yep, that those are brass, right? They sound raw and pure in it's a individual form, right? And I slap on this vocal this vocal VST because I was just experimenting, right? And I crank up the compression, and this is what it sounds like. So like I really like actually and these are one of the times where that like really artifacty kind of distortion that comes from like compressing it really hard and then also adding a tiny bit of reverb to it goes a long way for the brass, especially the trumpet. So it kind of has that like annoying it's kind of like an annoying trumpet pop tone, I would say, right? And that's exactly what I was going for, right? If you ever listen to like real live brass in real live brass in pop songs, right? They're always like super in your face, and they have so much like of this like bite to it. So I thought that this plugin is all I needed, and I that's the only plugin I have on there. But I wonder if like my mixing peers would yell at me because I technically didn't really properly mix the horn section. I just slapped on a effects that I use for a vocal. I slapped on an effects that I know has an annoying compression, and then like called it a day. But in the grand scheme of things, like it actually kind of worked out. It achieved the tone and quality that I wanted from the horn section. Because here, let's take a listen to. Okay, maybe I shouldn't, because then copyright. But I shouldn't. I probably shouldn't play the ref. But I was gonna play. If I played the ref, you'll hear like the trumpet has a very annoying annoying like compression to it, but it's very like fat and very upfront, and that's all due to like either they probably recorded really close to a microphone, which they probably didn't. They probably just recorded on like a ribbon microphone or like a probably it could have been probably a Royer 121 maybe, and then they just like crank up the compression or something. I'm just guessing and speculating based off the sound of the original MELA horns, and also it could also easily be the style of playing. I've noticed that a lot of Japanese horn players, especially trumpet players that record in the studio, or in general, they all have like a pretty darn similar sound actually. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like the style that they've absorbed from listening to, or maybe it's that they all play Yamaha trumpets. I don't know it. That's something that's actually a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm still trying to figure out that like very poppy, very like J-pop brass or like brass sound. And if anyone's an expert, please let me know. Anyways, not too much work here on the horn part. It's literally just going through one effects, right? And I think it sounds good, right? I think overall, it works just fine. Here's a... As long as the trumpet is compressed, right? In my opinion. There will be some things. I think I'm definitely trying to learn more and more about actually mixing brass. So this is all really, partly a learning experience, right? I am no expert in I'm not an expert in mixing or anything. I'm not a professional. I just do things with some technical background, some theory and everything, and then go mix off of aesthetic, which really, if it sounds good to you, right? If you like it, hopefully chances are other people like it. Hopefully. But uh it's also I know that let's take it from another perspective. Uh Maybe like a perspective from the community actually. I don't think there's not a lot of people in this Utaite community that has maybe worked with real live instruments before. Maybe specifically speaking about uh, generally the mixers, right? Audio engineers and mixers in the community. I think because it's mainly a Vocaloid driven, it was originally like a Vocaloid driven community. We're used to the instrumental already being there and just working with whatever the instrumental we have is. The thing is though, sometimes all those instrumentals aren't they're all like digitally made. They're all DTM, desktop music. So, and that's the whole point of like, the Vocaloid culture and like the Vocaloid songs. I think it's like all this music can be created in your home at any time, and that's like a super cool thing, right? But when you actually deal with live instruments, I need more water. Okay, I'm sorry. Give me a second. I need more water. Honestly, now I wonder if like the water is even helping. It's probably not. Zal does in fact do a little trolling. Just a little bit. Hoku! Hello, welcome to the mixed breakdown stream. I'm currently breaking down parts and pieces of Hoshi Os winning entry MELA. And hope you stick around and hang out a bit. I just got done breaking down the brass section, where I used only one plugin to make it sound relatively decent. I am honestly like my worst critic, my worst critic, to be honest. You know, and I greatly appreciate the input from other engineers that I admire. Right. I think I definitely do appreciate the mixing judge staff and their opinions and their judgment in this course battle. I think Cinnabon is a pretty darn good audio engineer and has some good ears for that kind of stuff. So I'm actually really curious about what he would have to say in detail about this mix, because I'd love to take it and pocket it and learn for the future. So, but let's see. Let's look at the guitars, maybe. The guitar parts were fun. I've actually never really worked with guitar parts before, like raw guitar parts, so this was an interesting experience to work with. All I know is that I really did cut out a lot of the highs, because I wanted a little bit more of a rhythm guitar feel for the rhythm guitar part, and also adding a little bit of reverb so that it doesn't sound so twangy, right? I think you have to add reverb to like these kind of digital input, or sorry, direct input instruments, right? Same thing with like trumpet. Live instruments need space to breathe and actually really resonate. So that's why it's our job as an audio engineer is to bring them into the space, in my opinion, right? I like the way that I did these guitars, so it's not too present. I panned them left according to like the original instrumental. Here's the guitar solo over here. This was fun. That was fun to make. And that's all just done with like a little bit of reverb. A little bit of reverb and delay goes a long way with the space, so. Little like sparkly things. Little sparkly bits. Here, in context. Oh yeah, and the guitar part also gave me distorted parts, so I actually took the distorted parts and I think I added more distortion. So to give it a little like actually kind of clean up some of the parts, but here, let's take a listen to it. I hope it's not gonna blow my ears out actually, because I don't know how much I compressed it. I'm gonna take a quick look. Okay, I think it'll be okay. If I take this off. I think it's just a guitar with some basic overdrive. Then I added more overdrive on top of it and some space. I think it worked out in the end. I think I really did work out in the end. So, good. All right, behind the smile. More like they feel like they are in a space room. Yeah. That's a good way to put it, actually. Rhythm have an interesting quack. Yeah, Zal's first guitar. Honestly, I think in the future for sure I should be referring to I should refer to you, Lewis, sometime about the guitars and things like that, because this is all new space for me. Despite I've definitely worked with more with wind and brass instruments before, but the electronic instruments and actual live instruments, it's a lot of fun to work with actually. So, anyways, that is those are good the guitars. I had a lot of fun working with them, and trying to figure out how they fit in the puzzle. So, I particularly like the solo a lot. So I like the way that it dispersed and it sounds. So I like that. Any questions? Did I am I explaining myself, or am I just like rambling? Am I just rambling, or am I explaining my mix well enough? I don't I'm sometimes I feel like I'm losing my direction a little bit, but hey, I'm just here to share y'all what I'm doing, what I've done with this. We can get into the vocals in a bit, but I'm just going through. Oh, let's go through oh, this was a lot of fun to do actually. If you guys ever want to make like claps, if you guys want to add clap tracks to your songs, record a lot of them, and then also add in some synthesized parts, right? So if you're, and then also be sure to add some of the some reverb. This is what it sounds like without if I turn off the synths and I just play the recorded claps. I literally just recorded like seven takes of me clapping. So, and then we have some takes of our band members clapping. So this is what this sounds like, just raw. Claps are actually really hard to sometimes get into a mix because whenever you record a clap, it's a very, very quick transient, and oftentimes it just sounds like really weak, very like it's just how to explain it, like just your two hands, two pieces of meat just slapping each other. Don't take that out of context. But as soon as you add in some reverb and you add in these like synthesized claps, then you're adding a little bit more like white noise information to it that is very typical in a lot of like pop songs and whatnot. So it sounds a little bit more organic when you add a little bit more reverb, a little bit of EQing, right? A little compression, and then you get something like this. Right? So like without the reverb there to like convulse everything, it sounds like your typical pop song kind of sound. Like mixing in some of those synths with like real claps and then adding a reverb on it, it really kind of adds makes it sound like there are people clapping in a room, you know. That was a lot of fun to actually make. I enjoyed making that actually. Time to check chat. Lewd. No. Don't say that. This clap makes you want to go ole. I'm glad. Yeah, the multi recording clap trick. Yep, indeed. And then also adding the synths. You need, I think, like if you want anything to sound a little more snappier and a little bit more like punchier, right? Just add some white noise to it, a little bit of white noise, and that's what really like these synth clap tracks are. I think these are all like sampled from like the Roland synth pack or something like that. So like they're very very like simple kind of VSTs or samples. All right, so that's a clapping. That's claps. Here are the drums. Let's look at I didn't really I hope if you guys if I'm like talking too fast or not explaining things very well, feel free to stop me because I'm just really plowing through, sharing what I have here. So I just need to make sure to check chat every now and then. So oh, can you play the distorted guitar with all the oh, I can do that. Yeah, can you play the distorted guitar with all the instrument parts? Yeah, sure. I'll play it with in context of the instrumental break. It's out here. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's like the big distorted guitar part break. This is a really cool part. Let's introduce the synth that Scatter made. I love that. I love that, like the little like star sparkle thing on the synth. But like for this one, for the the distorted guitars, they have the similar effects, but I just pan them both left and right, like because the the person that recorded these recorded two parts of the guitar. Guitar 2 had also a distorted guitar, and then guitar 1 had the same kind of like line. So then I pan them all left and right. They're both running through like some simple overdrive, and I like. And like, yeah. Where's my chat? Very prog sounding. Ooh, yeah, prog. Maybe open chat on your phone. True, I should do that. Okay. But let's go. Let's take a look at the horns. Oh, here's the piano part. This is actually a really interesting thing too that I did. I wanted to add, I just thought it might add something, but here's the piano part is recorded by Gyrus, right? Did a great job on this. And then I also layered on this like E piano to try and introduce a little bit of mid frequency energy, because I thought that I personally thought that the piano that the piano that Gyrus used was very bright keys, but I don't think it really did too much actually. Well, it's kind of like when I combine the two together, there's a little bit of like fluff when you combine the two, right? If I like turn it up a lot more, right? This is like the piano, like a piano MIDI. I think the VST that I'm currently using for this, I'm using Spitfire Audio, their free electric piano, which I thought was like really cool. I liked it. I liked the tone of it. I just tried experimenting, mixing it in with the piano, and I thought it sounded not too bad. I don't know how it translates into the whole mix though. I don't know. Can I hear it? It's not very noticeable, but I think it does add a tiny bit. I also do that blending thing often. Oh yeah, Spatter, sexy delays. Thank you very much, Spatter, for the synth part and doing that. It worked out really good, really well. I like it a lot. Okay, that kind of does it for the instrumental for now. Let's take a look at the vocals, actually. Shall we take a look at, what should we take a look at first? Should we take a look at the la la las or the harms? Let's start with the mains, actually. I'll take that off and let's just move over here. Oh yeah, maybe I can take some time to show how I organized my project. Despite it looking like it is actually kind of a mess still, but I have this sort of setup. I can actually show you a cool little graphic of it. If do this, I gotta mount it to docket. Okay, so this is a cool little thing about Reaper. You can actually see how things are wired in your project. So you can see here's our master track, right? and all of these things. I have a pre-master, and I have this thing called I call this thing like the King Engine. It's just like a joke that a joke track that I created that has I just basically throw whatever I think is really fun, like a really like bombastic effect, and I throw it on here. I have my reverb and everything and whatnot, and here's my instrumental reference and click. We don't need that because our instrumental is here, over here, right? So everything's separated in a way. So here is the vocal folder, right? This vocal folder contains the main vocals, the harms, and the la la las, right? And then I'm basically taking the la la las, or I'm taking the vocals, and then I'm doing a send. I'm sending them to the pre-master, right? I actually send the vocals to the pre-master and the vocal reverb, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I think I broke it up actually that way. I send this to the King Engine. And I'll show you guys what the King Engine is later in a bit. I'm pretty sure that's the thing that does like the big sweep. So the big effect sweep. I couldn't find a easy way to or I found this to be like the easiest way to basically throw the entire song through a high pass filter. Right, so I can do like that sweeping thing, right? Or is it low pass? Low pass filter, I think. Actually both the low pass and high pass to make it sound really like phony or very radio-esque, right? Take a look at chat. Yeah, I'm surprised how bright the piano is. I tend to need to push them in the mix. Here they sit just right. The King Engine sounds like your secret sauce. Maybe it kind of is, maybe. But I actually I in round 2 and round 1 I have a bus that's called the King Engine. So ever since then I just kept on using that name for really out of this world effects. So, anyways, I've organized my project in this way. I can hit back to the transport. And they're all basically everything is just routed to the pre-master, and then the pre-master is sent to the master, so that I have a little extra level of control and I can add some more effects before it actually hits the master. And everything's all nice and organized. If I actually named it, I have 5 different like 1, 2, 3, 4 different reverbs for different things. I care deeply a lot about carving space in mixes, so I use these generously but also gently, right? I use them very carefully. For this specific mix, right? It doesn't have to be. It's not super. It's not in like a super concert hall. It's not in like anything. So the vocals actually have very little reverb, and we can let's take a look at the mains now. So I used to do for this kind of mixing actually. I actually decided to just do all of them, all like the main vocals, including verse vocals and chorus vocals. I decided to have them all in just one track, right? So and that was I think just for sake of sanity, but it actually turned out very well because Ida did a very good job scripting everybody in the chorus. That there was a lot of that basically everyone's voices blended very well with their entrances, that I didn't really have to do a whole lot of EQing or whatnot. I just had to really balance volume, right? And then automate volume here and there. I'm not showing all of the automation, but if you want to take a look, like these are like the things that I do. I write a lot of automation to every single track. So, things will be like, here's a 3 dB boost, here's a 3 dB cut, here's a 4 dB subtraction, things like that. I write a lot of automation, especially in the gain staging phase of my mixes. I will be just basically writing and recording or programming the volume fader basically for the entire day. Actually, that's actually like one of the first things I'll try to do in a mix, is just try to get level balance, like level the balance and volume of everything without any effects, right? That's like step one of most of my mixes. Um, I did so. Thank you for the automation. Oh, thank you for scripting. I wanted to take a moment to actually just compliment how well everything is scripted. Because every single time I listen back to it, I'm like, oh wow, like all of the voices in round three, they all work so well together. They all blend into each other with the call and response, and then the passing over of lines. Like it all worked out very, very well. And I personally like this chorus of voices, ever since round one. I've actually been using the same. I've actually been basically using the same exact effects and the same vocal processing since round one, actually, with just like very slight modifications. Because in round one, we did the Suisei no Uta, something like that song, right? And I think I definitely put a lot more effort into finding a good vocal balance in that song. And because of all the work that I did in round one, where I balanced everything with EQ, compression, and whatnot, I actually just copied all those settings and just moved them to round two, and I moved them to round three. And all I needed to do if I wanted to change the characteristics of it is I would basically go to the bus, right? The bus, and then I would adjust the bus compressor and the EQ and whatnot to do it, because I thought, man, I don't want to mess up this, like I don't want to mess up the natural blend of everyone's voices and everyone like that. Like it ended up working just fine in my opinion. So that was a little bit of trivia. I've used the same exact effects from round one on most of the vocals. So how I've been always wondering how exactly is scripting handled. Scripting in youth chorus battles, we often, I think the general idea is you want to balance the make sure everyone kind of has an equal amount of lines. But then there's also, that's like the basic premise, I would say, make sure everyone has lines to sing. But then there's extra levels of detail that come with like doing drafts and recordings, where you start understanding like some of the nuances of everyone's voice, the nuances of like everyone's range capabilities, everyone's tone, everyone's microphones, right? That I think we did a very good job taking in that information and applying it to the next round for sure. I know for a fact, like I think the first song we did a really good job. I like the way that it was scripted. The second song, I think we ran into some minor problems in some of the choruses, but where like though we were singing unison, some parts, I think it's just because of the range of the song. I think some of the female vocalists weren't singing as high, right? And then some of the guys were singing a little bit higher. So it's like I can't remember actually exactly, but I just remember in round two, some of the chorus balances was just a tiny bit off, but then like it was completely fixed in round three. Like everything. I think Ida had a perfect, like everything down. I remember requesting from round two that like uh I remember like some of the notes that I was making about like vocal balance and whatnot, right? And like I think we all did a very good job bouncing feedback and criticism to each other that like resulted in what we have right now. All right, let's enough me talking. Let's listen to some of like the what I was talking about, right? And the whole, I'm not gonna, and I don't, I can explain like the vocal processing and effects later when I actually can show my VSTs. But I want to highlight just that whole idea of things trading back and forth and it sounding pretty glued and linear. So let's start from the pre-chorus right now, okay?
手は取ってくれないか
La 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 la
ギフトテイク
la
さ
la 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 la.
君が僕のヒーローだったより
今なんじゃない
メラメラとたぎる
こんな僕にも潜む正義がどうしようもない
衝動に駆られて
ほら気づけば手を握っている
See, like, okay, it's like shit like that I love so much, right? It's like there's something about Ida, Marco, and Rin when they sing together, they just hit that right. They hit the right. When their voices combine, they hit the right overtones or something. When like Shoko and I sing together, we do a lot. I do a lot to when Shoko first sings. I do a lot to match her interpretation actually. So like there's a lot of that too. And same thing with like Cloudy. Cloudy hears
メラメラとたぎるこんな僕にも潜む正義が
so like I love this part right here where it's like um them three singing, but then everyone comes in, right?
ほら気づけば手を握っている一体全体で
That shit's tasty. I love that. I just want to say that right now. And I think like the whole trading parts and everything, it sounds. I think it's like it's fun to listen to. I'd say, right? You know what I should be doing? I should be playing this with all of the parts actually, because the harms really bring it in together, like glue a lot of it together. So let's go back to the start of the chorus right here, right?
君が僕のヒーローだったように今なんじゃないメラメラとたぎるこんな僕にも潜む正義がどうしようもない衝動に駆られてほら気づけば手を握っている一体全体そんなに荷物を背負い込ん
So like I think the thing that I love most about like this one part here, right? The Itai Zentai, it's like because I think we know from a chorus perspective, like when we all sing together, like it sounds like really good. Like I think this group has a very good natural chorus blend. So when we all sing together, like it sounds really good. And I love that like we just have one slice in the chorus right here that like we just all sing together, and then it goes back to like the trading things. It's like you're not in this chorus, it's not everyone singing all at once, but we're all still singing together, but like we save like really key parts in the song where we all singing together. That's like I'm talking like this is a little bit more now like musicality stuff and more planning rather than mixing stuff. So like I have to like so I get giddy every single time I think about this, like when I was digging into it. It's like, oh, it's so nice. I love it when I can like when you like dig into like the musicality and like the choices made to create like a really fun thing to listen to, right? So overall, like it just sounds cool.
衝動に駆られてほら気づけば手を握っている一体全体そんなに荷物を背負い込んでどこへ行くのねえ
I personally like that part. It's just like maybe I'm singing an octave up, but I like the way that it combined with Rin's voice a lot actually, because then when I'm singing an octave up, I'm actually singing exactly in the same register as Rin. It's like I liked actually the way that the timbre meshed with that. And so anyways, let's anything like what else can I talk I can talk about the mains. They're just like it's just all well scripted. It made it very pleasant to mix, you know. I didn't actually have to do a whole lot with the effects. I just had to do a lot with the balancing and the automation, making sure like I'm not because I don't want to use a whole lot of compression in this song despite it's sounding pretty darn compressed, but that's only because I put it on. Most of the compression is really coming from, I think, like the mains. Well, actually, no. I am giving a generous amount of compression to most of each of the vocals. So that's a false statement. I definitely am compressing each vocals like pretty an okay amount, but then I'm compressing them all on the main bus. So. How about actually? Oh, let's look at the la la las. Actually, that's a good place to maybe, because something I've noticed in all our entries, we do a lot of really cool, a lot of fun backgrounds, and oftentimes in the backgrounds we're all singing at once, so it's a lot of fun. I think that's like for example in the round one where we had all the like the kind of stuff. It's like sounds really cool. I think like any moment where we all sing together, I love to mix and balance and pan and whatnot, because I think like any moment I have time to play with and play with the actual um chorus stuff is like I like a lot. Anyways, I'm like blabbering right now. Anyways, let's take a look at the chorus parts actually. So this is a lot of fun panning, I would say, and a lot of things that I'm trying to do to keep it kind of in the background, but also kind of forward. I'm just gonna, do we have it solo? Let's have it soloed. So it also has all the woos and all like the let's go Hoshi Os stuff. So I did want to try and get a little bit more of like a crowd effect, but I think I didn't have enough time to play around with like the chorus and delays. So I kind of I'm trying to remember where I send these to, cuz like I think I send them to like a reverb. Okay, I send them to like a reverb, but then I'm pretty sure I'm hearing like some sort of like delay, whatnot. Can't remember exactly. Let's take a look. Let me just quickly take a look at our la 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 reverb. Oh, we just have it there, but no free delay. I hear a delay. I'm just trying to remember what I it's been a while since I've touched this mix, so well, most of the work is done by panning, all the panning, right? So for these ones, I really hard panned a lot of the parts, but I made sure to balance, I believe, my vocals, so Zal's vocals to the hard left. So my vocals hard left, and then Marco is hard right, I believe, right? Oh no, I left it hard left. Oh, Marco did 2 recordings, right? Yeah, Marco did 2 recordings, 2 la la las. So over here, I think this is left and right, same key. La 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 la. Yeah. La 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 la. So la la la. I was when I'm panning the vocals, like these parts, I'm trying to make sure that we have equal representation of the octaves on each side, left and right. So we have that. I think Marco did an octave down here, right? La, 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 la. No, over here. La, 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 la. Yeah. Did I sing an octave low? I guess I did not. There's a little bit of distortion there. I can't remember exactly what it's coming from, but c'est la vie. C'est la vie. Okay. Yeah, panning. Panning's a big part of carving out that sound, like the space and sound that you want for a mix. And I do a lot of experimenting with that and trying to make sure that everything's in their own pocket, whatnot. So all together, right? I don't have the instrumental on right now, but oh, I do have. Like these don't have a whole lot of reverb or delay going on them, right? But like it's enough reverb and delay that makes them sound like a little bit mid stage in the mix, I would say. But you can still hear them, like they're still pretty present, but like they're not slap in your face like the main vocals or anything. So I think that's definitely achieved through the panning, right? And also just very subtle reverb and delay. Very gentle use of that. So there's that. Personally, my favorite is like the "Let's Go Hoshi Os." I love. Wait, I want to just that solo that because I like that. That was a awesome part.
Let's go, Hoshi Os! La la la, la la la.
That was a good choice. Very, very good choice on Marco to do. Because that's it. I think in the last 30 seconds of the entire entry are honestly like my favorite. I'm a sucker for like end roll stuff, so I like that a lot. A trick I use for crowd feel to have the same harm octave left and right, and doing it again 3 feet away from the mic and then 6 feet away from the mic. You end up with 3 left, 3 right. You can pan them differently. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. I wonder if I could try. That does make sense though, right? Because when you're singing like or recording really close to the microphone, that's it's not the microphone's gonna capture. If it's a cardioid condenser microphone, right, it's gonna capture whatever it can, as close as it can. When you step back, right now you're getting more room. Your voices, or depending on what your room is, right, there's more distance and it takes a little bit more time for the vocals to hit the microphone. That's a good idea. That's a smart idea. It definitely can be achieved with like some delay, but I like that. I'm gonna have to book that, like add that to my notes, right? Okay. Well then. Let's see. I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna have to like end stream soonish, but I wish I could go into more technical stuff. I think I did a good balance of technical and just aesthetic and just general sharing of the mix. Sometimes I get a little bit unfocused, but if I decide to do this again, maybe I would like to do another part 2 where I can describe what I was doing with some of the vocal effects, but I have to end stream and reset some of my settings. But if anything, I hope this was kind of informative of the entire process and the amount of work that went into making mixes like this. Because I think overall the amount of hours I spent on this mix was about 15 to 20 hours, I think. I think this mix took on average around 15 to 20 hours. Usually my mixes are around that time for this kind of caliber, but I think this one might have gone a little bit over the 20-hour mark actually. If it's a normal chorus, like for example, the first chorus, the first song that we did in round 1, I'm pretty sure that took only like 10 hours ish, right? No more than 10 hours. The second mix, similar, like no more than 10 hours, I think. And I say that like I don't mean like 10 hours straight. I mean like I'm breaking them up into like hour-and-a-half chunks for like a few days. That's what I usually do when I'm mixing. I don't do it all straight at once because the ear fatigue would kill me. But yeah. Is my stream alive still? Cool. It was really informative, and dude, you mixes are A+. Oh, thank you so much. I'm still definitely improving, but I am very happy with the kind of quality that I'm achieving with my mixes. I think I definitely do have a certain style now. I'm very getting into the SSL sound right now. So I'm very I like a lot of the SSL plugins. So let's move over here. I'm really enjoying the SSL plugin suite, so I'm learning new sounds. I usually mix only with like isotope plugins. So like those are all great too, but anytime that I could share a little bit of my mix process, I feel like I wasn't as technical as I wanted to be. I'm sure like if there's any other audio engineers in chat, they can roast me and whatnot, but this is not my profession. Although as much as I would like it to be my profession, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not even sure if I want it to be my profession, but I like doing this. I like audio engineering. I like manipulating audio and whatnot. So I'm hungry. Sounds hungry. I know that I think Maku expressed interest, but about doing a what do you call it? Reaper guide kind of thing, or Reaper tutorial. I can definitely try and do that too. You do have a very J-pop sound. I love and use, yeah, yeah, very J-pop sound. I think that's exactly that's essentially what I was trying to go for with this mix, right? Because the whole thing is J-pop. I don't think I think I underachieved a little bit because well, I'm not really in a multi-million-dollar studio to work with, and I'm still learning the genre's like specifics. So I remember when I sent a tweet out, I was like, does anyone know how to mix J-pop? And everyone's just like, compression, just use a lot of compression. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna use a lot of compression. I remember that. But yeah, I think I'll do another stream Sunday. Not doing much then. Might go back to playing some Terraria maybe. We can talk more about that mix maybe. Yeah, use Reaper. Use Reaper. I'll teach you how to use Reaper. That'll be fun. I can't wait to like watch back my stream and find all the points where I was stuttering. All of pop is just compression. Honestly, metal too. I like metal too. Well, I'm not a huge. I don't have a very good like metal vocabulary and library, but there are some metal songs that I do like. Maybe they lean a little bit more towards the poppy metal, but or J-pop metal. Reaper, yeah, Reaper gang. Do you like my Reaper skin? My totally not Pro Tools Reaper skin. It's basically Pro Tools but better. That's how I feel whenever I've been using Reaper with the Pro Tools skin for the longest time, ever since I started using Reaper. And like I use that as a way to fool like my peers in college. Like, yeah, I'm using Pro Tools. See? And then they all they do is just take a glance, like, okay, yeah, whatever. But hey, you know, if you ever come across a client and they're like, "Do you use Pro Tools? I want you to use Pro Tools," and then you'd be like, "Pull this up." I bet they wouldn't know a single difference. They wouldn't know that you have Reaper up. Oh yeah, totally not Pro Tools. Pro Tools is fine, but like it's nah. We can get into like DAW wars another time, to be honest. But I guess I want to take this time again to actually thank Hoshi Os so much for the opportunity to mix for them and to sing with them, because like Hoshi Os has only been just a super positive experience in my content creating path, because they helped me get out of a rough spot too. So and I remember in like round 1 or after round 1, I promised them that I was gonna do, like, if we make round 3, I promised them that we're gonna do like some sort of original instrumental, and I kept my word. I basically called upon the powers of Mekon Project, you know, and then we made it happen. I am definitely curious about what I can. I think I know what's wrong, like things I can improve in the mix, right? But like I think at that stage, if I'm gonna do another remix of it, I should probably just start from scratch, because like it's probably the best way to start. I'm definitely gonna ask Cinnabon or other people, like, if you guys got any if you guys want to give any feedback about the mix and whatnot, and you have some ideas, feel free to DM me, or you can message me. You can join my Discord and we can talk about it there. I'd love to have a conversation about it because I'm always, like I said, there are some things that I don't know, but there's some things that I do kind of know. And I'd love to, I'm always trying to learn more. I know that like yeah, you fools. It was Reaper the whole time. Do you summon them all cool like? Yeah, they're all when they whenever I ask them to help me out or hey, can you record this? They all come on like a cloud of light or something like that. but yeah. If you guys want I'd love to talk more about mixing and my general style and styles that I'm trying to learn. You know, I remember I think what am I saying? I'd love to try and talk to Dictate more, you know, because Dictate's honestly a great audio engineer. I'm curious to know more about his style and methods of mixing, and I think like just in general how the process of making the fakes entry, because that's the fakes original song for round 3 is absolutely remarkable. One last question: how do you put on the hood? Like any other normal hood? What do you mean? Just like, you know, I mean this jacket is kind of like a loose jacket, so I kind of just you drape it over my head first and then you put the sleeves on, right? You put it, you know, you drape it over my horns first and then my arms through the arms holes, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It is comfy though. This is a very comfy hoodie. Keeps my horns warm. Alrighty. Well, I appreciate everyone dropping by. I, I appreciate everyone dropping by to the stream. I hope this was informative. I hope you learned a little bit of something, maybe, or you just wanted to see the insanity that I do, the insanity of the projects that I do sometimes. So, I appreciate you all. I'm gonna try and do another stream, a more like fun stream Sunday maybe I'll do another I'll do a fun game stream Sunday. I should do like something that's like audience interactive someday too, but we'll save that for another day too. Yeah, thank you Scatter for dropping by. I hope, yeah, it's really interesting seeing how others mix. Yeah, I know that you're also a mixer yourself, so I really respect your work. You do a really great job with like the really like carving out orchestral spaces, you know. So I like that a lot. Okay, I gotta go eat and get ready for the day. I hope you all have a great evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is at your spot, and I looked forward to hanging out with you again sometime. Alrighty, I'll try to post a schedule. I'll post like, you know, a day before if I'm streaming on Sunday. So I appreciate it. Thank you all. Have a great day and goodbye.